Hey, what up? It's Brad, and in this video, I want to re-explain. I made several videos about this before, but I want to re-explain the benefits that I get in my life from being a Scientologist. That's right, I said it. I'm a Scientologist, and I want to explain to you first what that actually means by my estimation. Okay, there's definitions, that L. Ron Hubbard, who's the founder of Scientology, that he wrote defining what is a Scientologist. And you can go and you can look those up. Those are available on Scientology.org. But I have a personal definition for me of what it means for me to be a Scientologist. And what that means is I am dedicated to making the world a better place. It's just that simple. I'm dedicated to making me better so that I can help you and others also in whatever way that's needed. That doesn't even mean help make you better. Like I was finding myself, I was going to say that, and then it's like, it's not even that. It's I'm dedicated to making me better, making my environment better. I'm filming this in our family's new beautiful home. It's amazing. We love it here. And I'm dedicated to just making things better around me. If somebody's around me, I want their life to be going like this, okay? And if they don't agree with that, they don't stick around, because it's like, look, I want things to be doing better. I don't agree that things should go down like that. I think they should go up. And that's not in like a mean way. It's just, that's how it should be. Life should get better and better and better. And, in 2021, I was reading a book written by a great individual named Grant Cardone. And the book is called Be Obsessed or Be Average. I highly recommend it. And in the book, Grant says, there's one little thing. It's actually not even in the written book. It's only in the Audible version. So you got to get the Audible version to hear this. But what Grant says is, he says, if you want to learn to eliminate negativity from your mind forever, read the book Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. And I had grown up here in the Tampa Bay area. I actually grew up in Hudson and then Newport Richie. Eventually I'll say that on my bio. And then I'll be known as the first Hudson billionaire. That's probably what we'll call it. Anyhow, so I had heard some things about the Church of Scientology, but I never heard about Dianetics. And I was like, oh, I think those two are related. But I'm like, Grant's doing really well. Let me see what this is about. And I was like, hey, it's just a book. If I don't like it, I can stop reading it. And so I get the book Dianetics, start listening to it on Audible. And man, this book was like nothing I had ever read before. It talked about why people act crazy, like without provoking them. Like, you ever have it where somebody just acts absolutely insane for seemingly no reason? You're like, why are you acting like this? There's a specific reason why they're acting like that, and it's explained in the book Dianetics, okay? Then it talks about like why people repeat certain phrases. It talked about this, why people, like, certain phrases seem to just like come out of people, and they just will reactively just vomit out the same wording, same emphasis, same everything, but in like a crazy way, not in like a practice way. It's like, why do they do that? And why does it seem that even if I handle someone's problem, like let's say, somebody in my life is having a problem in our business. Like we're having a problem with late material deliveries, for example, just as a random example. Because this was one early on in the business. We couldn't get our deliveries lined up for materials, and they'd be late, and we'd get upset customers and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, and then we handle it. It's like, wait, but now they just found something else to be upset about, this person. And I'm like, what is that? Why? And, well, I read the book Dianetics, and it gave me what I saw as a completely plausible solution. I was like, if this is true, which based on my observation, everything he's saying lines up with what I have personally observed, I'm like, this explains everything. I'm like, this is it. And so when I finished the book, at the back part of the book, it actually explains how to deliver Dianetic therapy to people, which helps to make them not crazy. It helps to handle their crazy. That's not the official definition, but that's Brad's version of what Dianetics does. Is it handles people's crazy, and specifically it handles your reactive mind. If you want to know what that is, read it in the book Dianetics, because it explains what the reactive mind is. You got one, I don't. I'll go into that in another video. But anyways, you can get rid of it. And so I read this book, and at the end of it, it explains how to deliver the therapy to someone else. And it's basically like it's theory, and then it's actually also a training manual on, hey, how do you actually deliver this therapy? Because it was meant to be given, like, it's like, hey, anybody in the world can do this, and you can just do it anywhere. It doesn't have to even cost anything. You buy a $20 book, and boom, you can handle somebody's biggest ruin in their life, like the thing that is ruining their life. You can handle that by just buying a $20 book and then doing what it says in the book. Okay, that's it. That's the only actual monetary cost. So L. Ron Hubbard's vision was, from what I understand, is boom, push this book out. It's now sold like 20 million copies. It's like the 5th best-selling book of all time or something insane like that. And so it's behind like the Bible, like the great religious texts. It's up there with those. So anyways, I'm sure some hater will make a video about that of like, he said it was the 5th best, it's the 6th, and therefore, anyways, I love that. Anyhow, the point of that is I get to the end of the book, and I'm like, I'm scheming. I'm like, okay, maybe if I can get my mom to read the book, I'm like, I'm definitely not gonna have my girlfriend read it, because she'll think I'm crazy, because she also grew up in anyways, she was very not religious. We're very not religious people. I couldn't even believe that I was considering a religion as a solution to my problems. I couldn't even believe it. And so even though I grew up Christian, I grew up in a Lutheran church, I couldn't believe I was looking at religion as a possible solution to my problems. And what I realized is, I'm like, man, I'm going to have to look at Scientology. I'm like, I have to look and see what this is. Because it says, there's like, I think like a postscript at the end of the book where it's like, hey, you can go to a church of Scientology and you can actually get Dianetics delivered to you. Like, you can actually get it from a professional Dianetic therapist. They're not called Dianetic therapists, they're called auditors. But that's someone who delivers Dianetic therapy. So I'm like, man, I'm going to have to go walk into a church of Scientology. And I was like, well, let me see. And so I look it up. I assume I'm going to go to the big one in Clearwater. And that's not how it works. You don't just walk in off the street and go in there, because, I mean, it is like the spiritual headquarters of the religion. So they're not just like, hey, come on in. Normal churches, they're like, hey, anybody, come on in, please. Happy to have you. For that one, it's like, hey, there's other ones in the area, but we got to know you and trust you for you to come here, okay? And it's not a money thing. It's a trust thing. It's, hey, we have to make sure you're not a psychopath, basically. Prove to us that you're not a psychopath by being a law-abiding citizen, basically, for some time, and then you're good. That's a great oversimplification, but you get the idea. So I'm looking up. I look up Church of Scientology near me, and I lived in downtown Tampa, actually in the Element building at the time. It was a skyscraper in downtown Tampa. Flooded horribly in 2020. When was that? It's on our 32nd floor. In 2021, I think the pipe burst. It had a horrible flood. We were there during that time. Fellow Element dwellers, if you're there, hit me up. And I look it up, Church of Scientology near me, and there's a church 3 minutes from my house in Ybor. And I'm like, what is this? I'm like, there's a church in Tampa? And so I'm like, well, let me go on the website, fill out a contact form, boom. 10, 15, 20 minutes later, something like that, not too much long later, I get an email, or I get a phone call from someone who's now a good friend of mine, a girl named Destiny. Ironic name. Destiny, love you. You're awesome. She calls me and she says, hey, I'm Destiny from the Church of Scientology in Tampa. I got your contact form. What do you need? She's like, what do you need help with? And I was like, well, can I like do maybe like a tour or something? Or can I see what you guys do? And she's like, absolutely. She's like, what, just out of curiosity, what are you trying to accomplish? Like, what are you trying to handle? Like, what do you need help with? And I'm like, well, I feel that in life, my life is kind of going downhill faster and faster. And I know I'm not living up to my full potential. So can you help me unleash my full potential? And she says, absolutely. That's what we do here. And I'm like, okay, let's fucking go. And see, I like that it's my channel because I can curse on my own channel if I want to. Not made for kids. So she sends me a video that I watched that night and then sets me up for a tour at like 10 a.m. the next morning. And I go in and I walk into the church and I'm like, I'm expecting like, you know, I'd always been told like, oh, it's this, it's that, it's blee, it's blah. Like all these kind of weird ideas had kind of been like given to me, but I never actually gone and looked for myself. And when I walked in, I was like, the building is huge. It's beautiful. It's immaculate. I'm in construction. The restoration of this historic building is incredible. Like even like there's something that is done in old buildings, which is called cross bracing, where they do little X's of wood between the floor joists. That was fully restored and put back in the spacing they would have done. And also I could see the way it was done. It was hand sawed. I'm like, what is going on here? This building is beautiful. Did they do this? And then I get greeted by this person in a nice clean uniform, bright, smiley, and they're like, hey, you must be Brad. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, okay, I'll let Jennifer know you're here. And it was the receptionist. She's like, I'll let you know you're here. I'll let her know you're here. She's going to do your tour. And I'm like, okay. So I just wait there for like 2 minutes. Jennifer comes up and gets me. She's like, hey, okay, let's show you. And she's walking me around and she's showing me kind of like, we started off with what the church does just in terms of like pushing out into the world and like the campaigns to basically create a better world. Things like anti-drug programs, youth for human rights, like pushing on human rights. Something that's called The Way to Happiness, which is a book that L. Ron Hubbard wrote, which is secular. It's not a religious book, but it's about how to be happy. It's principles for happy living, and damn, do these principles work. And they're the common sense guide for better living, right? That's what it says in the book. And she's showing me all these different things, and I'm like, okay, I agree with all this. I'm like, where's the crazy stuff? I'm like, where is it? Where I'm like thinking this in my head. I'm not saying this, and I'm like, where's the wild? So where does the shoe drop? And then she's like, okay, we do this personality test. I'm like, okay, fine, personality test. It was 200 questions, and I'm like, okay, it's a lot of questions, pretty thorough. And then I answer the questions, and they're like normal questions, like one of them I remember, are you a slow eater? And I'm a very fast eater because I graduated from U.S. Army Ranger School, and at Ranger School you don't eat, you eat fast, because if you don't eat fast, you throw away the food you didn't eat, and you are hungry. So I've always eaten fast since then, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a fast eater. And I remember that one. It was like it stuck out in my head. But I answer the test, and I get my it creates a little graph, which represents how your personality by your own estimation. It's how you feel about you. And I just started drinking the Zevia. It's a bit addicting. 0 calories though, so that's cool. Hopefully the stevia doesn't give me cancer. But anyways, I'll beat the cancer. So I get the personality result, the graph thing, and I'm looking at it, and there's like 12 or 16 points or something like that. And happiness was one of the points. And it was like, it goes from positive 100 to negative 100, right? And this is how you feel about, it should accurately reflect how you feel about yourself and your life and your personality. And mine was like negative 90 on a scale of 100 to negative 100. And up until that point, I had put on this facade that I was actually happy. And this is like, while, you know, I'm like, things are not going well, but I'm just keeping this facade that I'm happy. And I can do the face, right? And she says, well, you know, it seems like you're not so happy in life. Is that, do you feel that way? Does that seem real to you? And it was such a beautiful question, because it wasn't like, hey, I see here you're not very happy. it wasn't like pushing something on me. It was like, hey, it looks like you might not be so happy. Is that real to you? And I was like, I had like a tear in my eye, and I was like, my question was, how do you know that? That was literally my question. I was like, how do you know that? Because I had never told anyone. Nobody knew that I wasn't happy. And I was actually quite miserable, to be honest, and I didn't know why. I now have a really good idea as to why. It's the reactive mind and a couple other things. But I saw that result, and I was like, that's very interesting, because nobody has ever picked that out about me. Like, I've always been able to fool people. And so then I'm like, well, yeah. And she's like, well, would you like to improve that? And I was like, oh, yes, please. That's now now. So give me the secret sauce. I'm like, this is what I came here for. Is I want to improve everything. And she's like, okay, great. Well, we have courses here. They take one to 2 weeks to complete a piece. She's like, they're $50. They're called life improvement courses. The first one I would recommend that you do is, she asked me, do you go through like high periods and low periods in life? And I was like, absolutely. I was on a freaking roller coaster in my life at that point. She's like, perfect. The first course that I usually recommend people do is called Overcoming Ups and Downs in Life. Meaning, you don't have a life like this, you just have a life like this, right? Obviously there's little blips, but it's not a freaking roller coaster anymore. And I was like, okay, good. And she's like, now there's 4 other courses that follow on after that. You just want to buy all 5 of them for $250? And I'm like, I'm literally thinking in my mind, I'm like, absolutely, yeah, I want all of them. I want everything immediately. I'm like, let me just get it all. And, but I only had like $87 in my bank account at the time. So I'm like, I put on a face of a discerning face. Like, let me see how the first one works. I'm like dying to start the course. And I'm like playing cool. I'm like, let me just see how I like it. And she's like, okay, fine. And then, I pay the $50. I get the course. I go up to the course room, and she's like, hey, you do the course in the course room here. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I get into the course room, and like, there's no teacher. It's like nobody like teaching you. I'm like, so what, you just read it? And she's like, yeah, you're learning. Like, this is for you to discover what's real for you. And you do it at your own pace, and it's for you. It's not for us. And I was like, that's different. I like that. Like, because I'm responsible now for myself and getting myself through this and what I learned. And so I started that course, and it wasn't on that course. That course was really good. But then the next one that I did, it was called Personal Values and Integrity. In the first page, like one of the first paragraphs, it says, talking about personal integrity and having your own integrity. And it talks about how integrity is saying what is real to you. And like when you observe something, you don't convince yourself you didn't see it. And you don't like take somebody's invalidation of what you saw. You know what you saw. And it's like trusting yourself. That's basically like my understanding of the definition of integrity. And that's the definition I've adopted of integrity, is like, I know what's real, and I'm not going to compromise that just because somebody else thinks differently. And so he's talking about that. And then he says in this pack, this was really such an amazing thing. He says, in Scientology, we're not here to tell you what's true. We're here to give you information, and you decide if it's true. And in Scientology, the only thing that's true is what is true by your observation, and that's it. And I was like, this is written by, I like literally checked. I was like, this is written by the guy L. Ron Hubbard, right? The dude who there's like the statue of in the chapel. And they're like, yeah, this is all by L. Ron Hubbard. I'm like, so he says that if I don't believe something in this, I don't have to believe it. And they're like, yeah, that's how, yes, it's you. Like, if it works for you, use it. If you don't use it. You should use what works. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's roll. And from that point on, I have just been doing more and more and more. And my life now keeps getting better and better and better. I'll give some stats in some later videos, but my businesses have exploded in size. From one business, I now have 4 businesses. I know how to work with people without upsetting them. Like I never thought I would say this. I have like tenured staff, like tenure meaning like they've been around for a long time. I have long standing staff members who've been with me for years. My relationship with my parents is like incredible. Like I'm not angry at my parents all the time for no reason. I have these two beautiful children. I have my amazing wife, who was my girlfriend at the time. We had this insane open relationship, which was terrible. I was miserable doing that. Like, by the way, perfect recipe for misery, open relationship. If you don't believe me, well, find out for yourself. But if you want one thing that will guarantee misery, it's an open relationship. That is the surefire recipe for being miserable. As a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. So all that said, that was the start of my journey as me, and that's what this Scientology thing is really about. For me, it's about me. It's about me and my life and making it better in every way possible. And that's all it's about. So I wanted to share that with you. If I've had over the past, it's crazy to think I've been a Scientologist for 5 years now. And over the past 5 years, I had many people, because I'm very public about it, I've had many people reach out to me of like, hey, I have this question, blah, blah, blah. If you have honest questions, I'm super happy to answer your questions. Like, if you have questions for me, if you're like curious and you're like wondering how to approach it, just hit me up. Like, you can find me on Instagram. Just use the thumbs, man. So that's it. I hope that you're having an amazing day. We're about to go to an incredible event tonight. It's, let's see. Oh, today's May 9th, I think. Yeah. It's the 76th anniversary of Dianetics. And I freaking love that book. It changed my life. If you want to pick up Dianetics, I'll drop a link to the Dianetics book. I think it's also online, like in video form now or something. It's like this it's publicized everywhere. If you'll be able to figure out getting at your hands on a copy of Dianetics, okay? So be great, and I'll talk to you in the next vid. Peace.